So this is a lifted increase. I think this is the most invisible increase of all, and it's really pretty easy to do. So rather than working into the stitch that's on your needle, you're going to be working with a stitch that's just below that. So this is the current stitch, and this is the stitch below we're talking about. So for a right leaning lifted increase, you're going to work into the right leg of that stitch. So if I hold that out, you can see it's right there. We're going to work into that stitch. And we haven't touched the stitch that's on our needle, but we're going to knit into that one. So now you have two stitches from that one stitch. Let's look at that again. So we're going to go into the right leg of the stitch below. Sometimes it's easier to see from the back. It's like you're knitting into the head of the purl side stitch, but it's the same place here. Knit that, then knit the stitch that's on your needle. You can also knit into the side of that stitch below and slip the stitch that's on the needle. It makes it a little tidier, but you do have to be careful as you're coming back because the stitches aren't quite as distinct, and if your yarn is fine, this happens to be a really chunky yarn, but if your yarn's fine, it might be easy to kind of knit those together rather than knitting them as separate stitches. So knitting that stitch, the side of the stitch below, and then slipping that stitch purlwise. We're inserting our needle as if to purl and just slipping it off. So there you have a lifted increase, right leaning. Now, if you were going to do a left leaning version, you can knit this stitch, and then instead of going into the stitch just below, you need to go down 2 and knit this. This is where I think slipping that stitch makes it much, much cleaner. So if you want to do a slipped version of that, slip the stitch first, purlwise, and then you can go ahead and just knit into the left leg of the stitch below. This is tricky. But do you see how you've made 2 stitches out of 1 by lifting it? Again, on your way back, you want to be really careful to work each of those separately to realize the increase. We'll look at that one more time. Slip as if to purl, and then knit into the left leg of the stitch below. Lift it up with your left needle and knit into it. Right? All right, so there you have right lifted increase and left lifted increase.